substitutions there, but you had your eye on that throughout the game, that sort of change at the end?
So it always changes, depending on what you feel and what you see and the momentum of a game and the nature of us going down. Definitely felt we needed to shore it up and tweak what was in front of the back five at certain stages. Wanted to go with more of a narrow forward than a 3 and a 2, and then you look into the bench then when you need a goal, and Fabio's someone who I feel for that he probably hasn't had as many minutes as he deserves, because his application to his craft and his dedication to his craft is pretty special. I know he's a goal scorer, so yeah, it was nice when he popped up with that late goal, obviously.
Sorry, can I ask you about the sort of throw-ins, because obviously that's made a quite big impact, especially today, and especially with Sharda. He sort of scores one with his feet and sets one up with his hands. That's quite unique.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not unique for this football club, I must say. It's I find with the modern game, and maybe it's always been the way when the top teams do it, it's accepted. It's that's okay to do. It's been a prevalent part of what this club has done for numerous years. I was obviously in a different role last year where we caused a lot of chaos from situations like that, and we'll always try and find ways to get results, win games, and it's nice that we're able to have multiple players able to take long throws. So yeah, but you're right, it is slightly unique.
Why is that coming back into fashion, sort of throw-ins? Because we saw like Rory the Lap famously, he was brilliant at them, then nobody started using it for a while. Now it seems like not just Brentford, but maybe other teams are starting to look at throw-ins and how they impact the game.
I just think it's a useful tool. I think any coach should look at a game and trying to find advantages, because ultimately the game is about scoring goals at one end and keeping goals out of another end. So if you feel that a long throw will help you with what you've got, A, the delivery, and B, the physicality, to be able to cause problems and create opportunities, then I think you'd be foolish not to use it.
You must have been really pleased with the state of play up to 56 minutes. You've nullified them, you've scored a good goal, you're looking to hurt them on the counter as well. But then Palmer comes on and he does make a difference, not just with the goal, but he's a difficult player to stop, I guess.
Of course he is. He's a supremely talented player. You've seen the changes they made at half-time to try and change the momentum of the game. Felt he would always come into the game at some stage after his injury. And naturally that changes the dynamic because he's such a talented player. A little bit disappointed with his goal. I just felt we left that space a little bit vacated when we could have closed it a bit more and stayed connected more as a team. But you're not going to get through the full game without conceding certain opportunities. But I thought we nullified a lot of what they do very well tonight. Denied space in crucial areas. Queevy made a couple of really good saves, which doesn't surprise me because he's a top goalkeeper. And you're going to need to do that against teams of this calibre.
Could you say a few words about Jordan Henderson in front of Thomas Tuchel? He sort of seemed to, a beautiful pass for the Sharda goal, but overall he's metronomic in midfield, isn't he?
Yeah, Jordan's been brought in to provide experience and quality and leadership. And I think what we've seen tonight is Jordan. He relishes the competition, he relishes the battle, and I think from people will go on about the pass for the goal. It doesn't surprise me with the type of precision that he has, the deliberate way that he plays passes, whether it's that type of pass or crosses that you've seen at Liverpool for many years into that half space. And he's an ultimate competitor. And yeah, I thought he was outstanding tonight.
Hi Keith, just wanted to ask you about Fabio. You touched on it a minute ago, maybe not getting the minutes that he wants. Apart from injury, what are the reasons you think his first season with Brentford was so disruptive? And then do you think that goal is sort of the moment for him to kick on?
I think if you look at last season, there was some attacking players in the building did pretty well. So it was difficult. We had a front four that were sensational, and it was pretty consistent. He had to bide his time, and I think naturally sometimes when you're a player and you feel like you have to gate crash yourself into the team, you feel a layer of extra pressure, I feel, to then really produce when you come on the pitch. And I think sometimes that correlates in a performance that's not natural. I think I've got a really good relationship with Fabio, where he does trust me, and he knows that I believe in him. And I think with players, the key is that you've got to constantly be in communication with them, whether they're playing or not playing. And when they're not playing, obviously it's a little bit more difficult, but I still think you have to communicate with them and speak to them about the game and what it's. And with Fabio, I've just asked for a little bit of patience, because I truly believe he'll be a big player for this club.
Can I also just talk to you about Kevin Schade? Because just before he scored, I think there was a break in play. It looked like you two were talking to each other. What did you say exactly?
I wanted him to stay a little bit more central, because I felt him and Thiago were slightly disjointed. Kevin's obviously played a lot from the left in the last couple of years probably, whereas tonight we wanted to play with a front two that were slightly connected, one come short, combine. Defensively, we wanted Thiago slightly deeper, Kevin slightly higher because of his pace, and I just felt on occasions when we played to the right hand side of the pitch, he was too far to the left, so that was it simply.
Final one from me. Was the plan for Thiago to man-mark Moises Caicedo? And if so, where did the thinking behind that come from?
So much man-mark him, just to nullify him and allow our midfield three to stay a little bit more connected and in the areas where we felt Chelsea wanted to get to. But he did do a good job on him.
Thank you.
I want to ask you about Michael Fabiole, another good game from him. What are you seeing from him?
When I watch him play, I feel joy, because the way he plays the game and the way he trains in every single training session is just with enthusiasm. He loves the game. He loves competing. He loves to try and get better every day. I just see someone who is all in on every action, whether it's a pass, the long throw, when he goes and engages an attacking midfielder or a winger who he's up against, and he's such a popular member of our squad. I can only see Michael getting better and better, and he started the season really well.
And he was with you in the final part of last season. Where do you think he improved the most between last season and this season?
I think he's just settled more, I suppose. I think coming from a different country, his English is magnificent. He's a very intelligent young man. He settled really well, but I just feel after a few months, when you go away and you come back, you already know your bearings and you're familiar with people, the area, living in a different country. I just feel that he's just had that extra layer of comfort in his daily life and the way he lives, both in the club and outside the club. He's a really popular member of the squad.
We done? We're done. Thank you very much, everybody.